What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Guilty as Charged podcast. Today, I'm joined by a special guest. That is Chargers' new long snapper, Josh Harris. Josh, thanks for joining me, man. How are you doing today?
Man, doing great, Tyler. I appreciate you having me on and working with me a little bit on the time change. You know, made the trip back east to visit with the family this weekend. But hey, looking forward to sharing a little bit tonight.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the film and all that. Somebody asked me when you first signed, hey, when's the long snapper film breakdown going? I'm like, well, probably won't happen, but maybe we could do something with that. And I reached out to you and you were totally down for doing this. So I really do appreciate that. Guys, for those of you that are watching live, the show's going to be broken down to 3 different parts. First part is just going to be a little bit of get to know you with Josh here, just real quick. Second part is going to be a film breakdown. We have a field goal and a punt here. Josh is going to break down all of that for us. And then the last part of the video is going to be your live question. So if you have a live question, please fire it in and I will try to answer as many. Well, no, Josh will try to answer as many as he can. I'll just sit here and bring them up. All right. So the first thing, the Chargers are very much so a family first organization. And so I just wanted to get to know your family. You just talked about them. And I do have this right here. I know you don't need to know what your family looks like. You already know that. But for everybody else, who's the Harris family? What are you guys all about? How's that going?
Yeah, so I've been married to my wife Cameron. It'll be 9 years here in July, and we've got 3 little ones. Our oldest is Kinley, she's 8, and Hattie is 6, and Anderson, our son, he's 3. And hey, we are very much a football family. We love the game and everything about it, and we love experiencing this crazy ride it's been an NFL journey together, and getting to share all of that, with not just us, but our extended families as well. And so we're looking forward to making some new memories out on the West Coast.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love this memory down here at the bottom right. How did you get your son into the picture with all these NFL players in there?
I think we just kind of went for it. It was one of those deals. It's better to ask for forgiveness than permission,
Permission. Yeah.
type thing. And he was out there the whole day. I mean, I've got some videos from. I mean, we did like a little punt period, and he was right there with me, like with the ball in his hand. So it was really cool. And we got a former teammate down there right in front of him, Kyle Pitts, and so we were
hmm
we were well represented out there. And years from now, he'll probably look at that and be like, "Wow, that was a cool moment with Dad."
Oh, I have to imagine as soon as he realizes what all of that means, how often he'll be showing people this particular photo, that memory. That's amazing. So, with your entire family, though, because you went to high school in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, and obviously went to Auburn, then you went for the Falcons. What went into this move then across the entire country over here to Los Angeles?
Well, I mean, I think first and foremost, just an opportunity to join an incredible organization, filled with great teammates, great players, and I think that's just something that's really something to get excited about, and it's definitely be a change for us, not just for me, but for our family as well. But just looking forward, just so much for the opportunity that's ahead, and so that's a lot of things are going to be a little bit different, right? Some of the opponents, your division, stadiums, things like that. But at this point in my career, I just could not think of a better situation, and just feel very blessed and thankful for the opportunity to get to go, out there to LA and continue this career.
Yeah, I love it. And we're certainly happy to have you, of course. I did want to get into your career very quickly. And again, you don't need to be reminded any of this, but I'm sure the people at home, just to follow along, no offers out of high school. You will go to Auburn, you try out, you win. Undrafted free agent, go to Atlanta, you win the job, become a Pro Bowl long snapper, granted many years down the line, but you won that job. So I have two questions. One, what kept you going through all that? And two, how does a long snapper win a competition in camp?
I think there's a lot that goes into that. But first and foremost, I mean, coming out of high school, I knew that Auburn is where I wanted to go to school,
Mm,
whether I was playing ball or not. I didn't have any offers, really a lot of opportunities there to continue that career. But I could snap, and I had a coach that said, "Hey, you should give it a shot." And so I just I didn't want to look back and have any regrets. I didn't want to wonder
hmm
years down the road, what would have happened had I showed up to that walk-on tryout, and kind of the same thing. I didn't get called up to the team until halfway through my freshman year
Wow.
in 2007, and so I'd already kind of put football aside and kind of jumped right back into it when we got started, that year, and just continuing through college. I didn't really understand that long snapping was something that was a specialized position in the NFL. I thought that
hmm
it was other positions that kind of handled those duties, and that's how it was for a long time. But
Hmm.
they finally specialized that position, just like kickers and punters, and very thankful for that. And to get an opportunity to be able to play for a team that I grew up cheering for, just a chance to try out, that was all I wanted. It's all I needed, and I just wanted to put my best foot forward. And I knew that I was just going to try as hard as I could, and ultimately God showed a lot of favor on me, and allowed me to have this opportunity to make that team. And here we are, 10, 11 years later, and we're still kicking, and we're still in love with the game, and I love the process of it. This time of year, training, working out,
hmm
getting together with the guys, on the field, off the field. I just couldn't ask for anything more. It's just an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, what an amazing journey. Just the underdog story throughout, and then to be able to, you're right now, I'm sure you know this, the most guaranteed money of any long snapper in the league. So things worked out. The dreams definitely are working out in that regard, of course, and just being able to play your experience is so cool there. All right, last thing, not related to film, I guess. I did want to ask about the schedule release. Did you see the video first off? And then are there any, well, I can assume that there's one team on this schedule that might catch your eye, but is there anything about this schedule that kind of like, whether it's the primetime games or the traveling or whatever, because obviously you've been in Atlanta for so long, you've never experienced the AFC West like this and the AFC in general. Does anything stand out to you aside from a certain November 6th, week 9 team?
Well, yeah, I did get a chance to see the video, and that was pretty incredible. I mean, that was some really good work there. It was funny, I guess the Waffle House shot there, I'll let that one slide, but yeah, I mean, obviously the Falcons game is that'll be a big one for us, but really just any of those divisional games. I mean, starting
Mm,
off, right there, the first 2 weeks, that's a great time a great way to set the tone for the season. And that's kind of where that season goes through, right? And win the division, that takes care of a lot of things for you. And so when I look at that schedule, I see a lot of opportunity in front of us, and a lot of opportunity to do it, in prime time as well. 5 primetime games, that's big time, and that's definitely something that'll be those will be circled on the calendar, and those will be games that we really look forward to and enjoy,
yeah.
those moments, because they don't come around all that often. I say that, coming from the previous organization, we wouldn't have 5 in a season right
Sure.
now. And so just really looking forward to capitalizing on those, and just taking advantage of every opportunity that we get. No matter what the schedule lays out or who we got, we got to take care of business each and every week.
Does the bye week play into anything for you guys? Like I know the Seahawks played a joke on their team. They had like a fake schedule release and they were so bummed about the week 4, week 5 bye. Where does that bye week kind of play in for you? Do you have any kind of preference as a player?
I think sometimes when it's really early in the season, that can be a little bit tougher, just because that it's going to come quick, and then it's
Mhm.
a long stretch, towards towards the finish line. And I think to have it kind of somewhere in that midpoint, that mid range, I think is always good, just because you kind of have a time to reset and regroup, and you still have a lot of football ahead of you. But I think that week, no matter when it comes, you just got to take advantage of that time, get your body right, get your mind right, whatever work that you need to get done. Handle that business during those days off, and enjoy it with your family or with your friends, because it's a long season, and you don't get to see them all that often. You're gone early in the morning, you're back late at night, and so just trying to take advantage of that time you get away from the game, but staying plugged in for sure.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, now to the film study, what everybody is here for. I cannot wait to see how this goes. So we do have one punt. I do have the end zone view as well, but I wanted to show the sideline view. So we have one punt and then one field goal later, because this apparently, I don't follow your career prior to joining the Chargers, obviously, but you set a career high in tackles on special teams this past season with 4, according to Pro Football Focus. And we do have one right here. So I wanted to show the sideline angle of it. You can talk about it as we watch it there. But then we can flip it to the end zone view and you can talk about more about your job and your particular role. So, I
All
mean,
right.
how often does this happen for you? Is this 2, 3, 4 times a year? How does this go? What's going through your head here?
I've usually had, a handful a year, for sure. But last year was special, and that's not just on me. It has a lot to do with my teammates around me, getting that returner, running towards me, and me just kind of being, doing my job and staying in my lane, but being at the right place at the right time. And a lot of times my tackles might not look the prettiest or anything like that. Hey, but as a former wrestler,
Yeah.
a lot of my tackles, it's funny. Me and my dad will joke, and my brother, about they look like wrestling takedowns, and whatever it takes to get that guy on the ground, man, it doesn't matter. So this was a good one. This was a primetime game here, so that
Oh,
was
okay.
that was definitely fun.
Yeah, not bad. No, that was pretty good. I mean, you wrapped up, you brought him down, no yards after the tackle. I think it was pretty good. No missed
There you
tackles
go.
there. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. All right. So the actual end zone view. So now just walk me through all of this, because this is completely foreign to me. It's foreign to most of us. I mean, obviously know what you're doing, but what are you seeing here? What's everybody else around you doing?
Yeah, so here there are 7 guys that are in the box. It looks like here. I don't want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. So when there's 7 guys in the box there for the defense, that's the personal protector or the fullback, the guy standing there in between me and the punter. He's going to set the protection and send me, to the guys to the side where there's four rushers. And so here he's probably going to send me to the left. So first and foremost, I got to snap an accurate ball. So I got to snap, and then I've got to recover and block. I have a protection assignment here, and then anything after that, that's icing on the cake. But first and foremost, I got to snap it. I got to handle my blocking assignment, and then run as fast as I can down there and try to mix it up. So we'll let it play and see how this one worked out.
Yep. And I'm more than happy to pause it at
Yeah.
any time if you want me to
Yeah,
go
so
over.
so in that situation right there, the guy that's lined up right there in that left A gap, what he's trying to do is he's trying to kind of knock me off my track so that I can't pick for one of my
Mm,
guards. So if he were to come straight off on one of the guards, then I'm just going to kind of pick him. Same way like pick and roll in basketball. I mean, I'm going to hit him in the side. My guard is going to release behind me, and so now we kind of get 2 guys out, and leave that defender behind. So he kind of shocks me to keep me from, and he does a good job of it here. So I'm not able to pick for any one of the guards. I just kind of have to hold my ground there, and then get out as fast as I can.
yeah, and obviously you get the tackle there.
In fact, my guard kind of picked for me there. That's very rare. So that doesn't really happen all that often.
Yeah, there you
Kind of
go.
shoves him off. Now we're out. And my assignment, on these on these punts is I'm going to the ball, and so I'm reading,
Hmm.
my teammates around me. I don't want to follow the same color jersey downfield. We got to kind of keep our spacing and keep some levels to it as well. And so I'm trying to play off as many guys as I can. And I've got one guy that comes over and tries to pin me inside, and I think I do a pretty good job of at least escaping the block and keeping my feet moving and getting to the ball.
Yeah, no, that's hustle. That's good stuff. Here we go. Boom. Look at that. Nowhere to go. Either out of bounds or you get him down.
That's
I
right.
like it.
I didn't celebrate too much there. So sometimes I'll get a little too excited, and throw a little Tiger Woods fist pump in there, or something in
Okay.
there.
I think he had something at the end here. I don't remember if it was a Tiger Woods fist bump. Is that the go-to?
I mean, he's the GOAT, so a lot of times, it's it does center around some of his iconic celebrations for sure.
Right on. So you talked about the personal protector here, calling out the protections, obviously. Is that typical for special teams, or is that kind of just depending on the team?
Oh yeah. I mean, every punt team. I mean, they're going to have that PP or fullback, whatever you want to call it, in there, and he's kind of your quarterback. I mean, he's setting the
Okay.
protection calls. He's giving the cadence, and that defense is running stunts, and twists and all sorts of stuff, just like a defensive line, and edge rushers and linebackers would. In this particular look, they're it's pretty much a return. So they've got 7 guys in the box. They can still rush out of that, but we have 8 to block 7, and so that's good math, on our end. And so that personal protector, me and him, we work hand in hand. And so we would watch a lot of tape together, break down things together, and see, hey, in this certain look, do you want me to send you left, send you right? And so we all have to be on the same page there. And that year, that's Duron Harmon. Man, he was awesome. Great player. I think actually now he's in Vegas. So we'll get to see him week 1. But yeah, so those guys, their job, it's kind of under the radar type stuff, but those guys are crucial to getting these plays off the ground.
Yeah, kind of like your spot. You don't really notice them. You don't really notice them. You only really notice them when something bad happens. So if you're not noticing him, that's great.
Right. I heard somebody say it's like an air traffic controller, and I was like, you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let me fast forward through this. So I just have a screen grab of the next one because you don't have to go through the entire play. I just wanted to know if things changed. Punt again, but you're backed up in your end zone at this point. Like, what did the dynamics change? Does the timing change? Obviously, you're not super backed up, so you're about as spaced out as you were in the previous play. But what changes for you guys when you're more backed up like this?
Well, I think first and foremost, you got to know where you're at in relation to the end zone. You got to hold your ground a little bit more. You can't, that holding penalty, if you grab one of those in the end zone, now you're looking at a safety. Yeah. And so, just depending on, different coordinators and schemes and, where you're at in the game, what the score is, maybe even the weather. I mean, just all sorts of things come into play. Some teams will choose to rush, in a situation like this, or they'll set up a pure return, which is kind of what the Patriots have going on right here. I mean, they've got double vice out there on both of our gunners. So, I mean, they're basically, they're trying to eliminate those guys because, those guys, they can release downfield as soon as the ball is snapped. The rest of us, we can't cross the line of scrimmage until the ball is punted. So, they're trying to keep those gunners pinned, and not let them escape and not let them get downfield and in hopes of, creating kind of some chaos there and creating a big return for them. Field position is obviously key in every game, and especially when you get a chance like this backed up, you're trying to eliminate as many return yards as possible on that punt team. And it changes a little bit here and there, but hey, you got to treat every situation, every play, with the same amount of focus and intent. And I think a lot of that comes with experience and also just watching tape and seeing, what teams like to do, in certain situations. And in this situation, the Patriots were definitely going for a return. But that doesn't mean those guys inside can't rush. You just, hey, now the numbers again are in our favor. We got 8 guys in there in the box, and they've only got 6. So if somebody wants to rush, we've got a few extra sets of hands in there that we should be able to handle that.
Yeah, love it. I don't know how many punts or field goals you've had blocked in your, obviously you're not kicking, but you've had blocked throughout your career. I'm asking this as a Chargers fan. I don't know if watched our 2020 season, but there were far too many blocks. I'll just say that much. So what tends to be the main culprit when something like that happens?
I mean, it can be a number of things. I mean, it can be any position. any gap that the guys come through. But typically, kicks and punts, they're blocked through gaps. And so the ideal situation is that you create that wall, and that starts with me and the personal protector and the A gaps, and it works out with the guards and the tackles and the wings. And, we're really all working together. While my responsibility, is blocking what we're going to call the fours inside. When you count those guys, you count those defenders from the outside in. So the guys on the outside, with his hand in the dirt, he's a 1. The next guy's a 2. Then the next guy would be a 3 and a 4. And so the wings, the guys that are lined up just off the ball, kind of back there with the PP, they're going to handle those 1s. The tackles are going to have the 2s. Guards are going to be responsible for the 3s, and then me and the PP or the fullback are going to be responsible for the 4s. And so it's on us to get great looks first and foremost. During the week of practice, a lot of times with the practice squad and the show team, those guys, the harder they can make it for us during the week, than in the game, it's going to be a little bit, it's going to feel natural. You're not going to feel a lot of surprise from the speed by which it happens. But yeah, I mean it's a tough play, and it's one of those things that you do it right 99% of the time, and the one time something goes wrong, it can be catastrophic for a game. And so it's important for all of us to be on our game at all times, and to do the best that we can.
Yeah, well, can't wait to not hear your name throughout the season because everything went right. I hope.
Yeah, knock on wood, right? That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Let me scroll past this. Okay, so we do have a field goal here. No sideline angle, just the end zone view. I believe this is a 54-yard field goal. I believe this was Koo's longest on the season last year. One, kind of like the punts, what changes between the distances? Like, are you guys thinking of anything differently because it's a 27-yarder or a 54-yarder? And then just what happens on this particular play. I'll go ahead and run it through, but just talk to me about what your process is here.
Yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, it's kind of this. You want to treat every play, kind of the same. You don't want to rank plays. An extra point in the first game in the first quarter means just as much and matters just as much as a 54-yarder during the middle of a game or a game winner. You just never know when those points are. Anytime that we're out there as a field goal unit, you're talking about putting points on the board, and so anytime we can do that, that's definitely a plus. And so, this was an awesome kick here. Koo just bangs it right through. But, I think one of the biggest differences, and a lot of people don't know or, understand or see, the detail that goes into a kicking unit. And, first, for a punt, that's a 14, 15-yard snap. This one is 8. But if you go through and watch, any field goal unit, I mean, for the most part, what's my job as a snapper is to deliver that ball accurately to the holder with the laces on top of the ball, so that all he has to do is put it down, and not have to spin the laces. And so that's going to happen a lot of times. Sometimes, hey, things happen, and those holders are incredible with what they're able to do in such a quick amount of time. But I know that my ball rotates like 2.5 times before, from the time it leaves my hands to the time the punter catches it, and or the holder catches it there. And that can vary depending on the holder and kind of where they catch it. Or do they catch it kind of out in front of them? Do they catch it closer, into their body? But, that's all, my job is to try to make that holder's job as easy as possible, and so whoever's back there kicking, they have a lot of confidence in the operation, so that all they, need to focus in on is putting that thing through the pipes.
Yeah, and I mean, clearly Koo has quite a bit of success both in field goals, extra points, and even onside kicks. So you guys are doing a pretty good job.
Right.
I won't bug you about Koo. He's a former Chargers player, and we sort of regret letting him go. But fantastic player, of course, and I'm glad he's doing well.
No doubt.
So in this particular situation, now who's calling protections, or is this just kind of everyone understands inside out, or what's going on here?
Yeah, there's not really a protection called,
Okay.
per se on something like this, but here it looks like New Orleans they're rushing from the field, which is pretty common, and so those guys we're all kind of working together and really trying to protect the flight path of the ball. And most of the time that flight path of the ball is coming basically kind of right over that right guard's back, kind of right in there, especially from the left hash here kicking. I mean, in order for that ball to be good, if it's staying straight, that's where it's going to travel. And so it's, I believe this, and I've heard it coached this way too, that field goal, extra point, it's the toughest 2 seconds in football. We're trying to
Yeah.
get this thing off in 1.3 seconds, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so every little bit of time helps and matters. And those guys coming off the edge, they're trying to get a jump. Maybe they have a read on something maybe that I do or the holder does. So there's a lot of
Hmm.
stuff that goes into this. But at the end of the day, you might switch. Some teams might switch the wings that are out there on the outside of the formation,
Mm.
depending on the kick, kind of where you're anticipating the rush coming from, or if there's a certain guy on the opposing team that is good off the edge. Maybe you put that guy
Mm.
towards him, no matter where he's at. And so,
Yeah.
a lot of different things go into it here, but they're just trying to overload, that right side of the ball, left side as we look at it here, just to try to collapse that line and get somebody up into the flight path. And who knows, especially a longer kick, sometimes
Yeah.
there'll be a little lower trajectory, and it just takes a little bit of a finger tip to drastically change that kick.
How long did it take you to figure out that it was 2.5 rotations between you and the holder? Like, how do you, at what point were you like, oh, yeah, I can just do that? Like, that, this is so foreign to me. You're obviously such a specialized role. How did you figure out even how to do that?
Well, I tell you, film breakdown has come a long, long way. Now, I mean, my rookie year, I mean, it was grainy. I mean, you couldn't see anything in the film. I mean, you just kind of, all right, here, you can just kind of see like a blob kind of going back there. But now, man, everything's in HD, and it's crystal
Yeah.
clear. And so, hey, we've got some time on our hands to break down, everything, every little thing that we do. And so one day I was like, hey, well, I just want to see if I can figure out how many times my ball rotates. And so,
Yeah.
that, and I would say most guys would say it's somewhere around that same amount, and hey, but now every now and then it'll change. Hey, maybe one day it's just coming out of your hand a little bit different, and so you have to make adjustments, on the fly sometimes, to say, okay, my ball's rotating a little bit more. Here's
Hmm.
something I can do to maybe take some rotation off, or add a little bit more spin. And so it's very specialized. And guys in the league are just incredibly talented at being able to repeat that motion.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. All right, so we are starting to run out of time, so I will jump into some live questions. We have a couple here. The first one from Kyle D. Dominicantanio. Welcome to the team, Josh. As a huge fan of the man, have you heard much of the legend that is David Bin? He set some high expectations. Happy to have you on board and wish you an amazing season.
Of course. How could I not know about the legend that is Dave Ben? I mean, I actually had a chance years ago. I want to say it was maybe my second year in. I used to come out to San Diego and train with John Carney at his place down near Carlsbad, and Dave came out, and I got to work with him one afternoon, and so it was really cool. I mean, to be able to share a field and kind of pick his brain and learn a little bit, from a guy like him who did it at such a high level for so long. I mean, that was really cool. So tip of the cap to Dave for sure.
Yeah, that was a big question. Everyone started asking me, have you heard of David Bin? Did you watch David Bin? So I had to ask it, so I'm glad Kyle did. This one is actually from
Absolutely.
my mom, Andrea Schoon. What was the key factor that earned you the long snapper position?
Ooh, I think that's kind of tough. I mean, I think the snapping part of it for sure obviously takes front and center. You got to be able to do that. But I think kind of the willingness to run downfield as well. I've always wanted to mix it up, and I think I've never really been told this, but I like to think that me getting down and mixing it up down there and trying my best in coverage, and challenging as many guys as I can to not let me beat you down the field, type thing. That might have played a little bit of a factor in it as well. But listen, I'm just trying to do my job, do good today, so they'll bring me back tomorrow. In this league, there's no credit, and so you're constantly got to prove it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I totally understand. And I'm watching, I just briefly going through the games of the last season. Yes, you are hustling down that field, making tackles as we shown here. So obviously we'll appreciate that. Gotta see a couple this season, hopefully. Last question. I don't know if you have or not. How's Ryan Ficken as a coach so far? What did you speak to him before you signed, and have you met him so far?
Yeah, Fick is awesome. Awesome guy. He was in Minnesota for a long time, I think 15 years, and so he brings a lot of experience, a lot of expertise to the room. He and Chris Gold, man, they do a great job. Chris, he's very knowledgeable as well, and so those guys being able to not only get us in the right positions, fundamentally and things like that, but the X's and O's, but they got a lot of great ideas and a lot of a deep understanding of the positions, and kind of what it takes to be great at kicker, punter, snapper, returner, any of that. And so I've really enjoyed my time so far with Coach Fick, and looking forward to winning a lot of games with him this year.
Yeah, sounds good to me. The whole group is seeming to come together really, really well. Ficken's been really impressive so far. Last question, I just going to ask this real quick from Thomas Martinez. Worst snap ever at any level? Do you have one that completely has haunted you throughout your life?
I try to forget those. No, but
never happened.
never happened.
Never.
Yeah, I'd probably say, I can't remember what year this was. It might have been 2000, maybe a 17, or no, actually, you know what? We'll say my rookie year. All right, just to bring this thing kind of full circle here. Rookie year, like second game of my career ever,
Oh, no.
playing at Qualcomm Stadium against the Chargers. Man, I just dribble a extra point snap back there, and thank goodness, we were able to overcome that moment. But that was crushing. I'd never really experienced that, but I think that it made me better on the back end, to kind of learn from that and grow. And so but for me, it's one of those things, whether you in a snap or in life, whatever, hey, good, bad, or indifferent, just get to the next play. Don't let that one kind of overwhelm you, and have that one turn into two. You got to flush it, no matter what happened, and get to the next play.
Love it. Sorry to bring up that, but I am definitely going to be searching up that play as soon as we get off here. So I appreciate
it. Might be a little grainy. It might be a little grainy. That might be some of the same film I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'll probably have to go find an actual newspaper with the picture of it to see if I can find
easy.
All right, Josh. Hey, good luck to your daughter tomorrow at her recital. Good luck on the rest of the move. Good luck at training camp and all that, man. What are you, obviously tomorrow you're at the recital, but what are you doing for now? And then what can we expect from you the rest of the season, man?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm excited. Right now I'm back home this weekend, helping my wife take care of the house and the three kids. It's been tough being away from them during this time of year, but looking forward to my daughter's ballet recital on Sunday, and so we'll experience that and have a great time celebrating her. And hey, I'm just looking forward to getting to work, and being great on the field, being great off the field, and trying to be the best teammate that I can be, and looking forward to a great season ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all hope we go 17-0 and go undefeated in the postseason and all that. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care, Josh.
Hey, thanks, Tyler. Have a good one.
You too.